We've spent 4 videos talking about technologies that are genuinely extraordinary. The future of work, reversing aging, artificial general intelligence, rewriting the human genome, all of it real, all of it happening now, and almost none of it available to you or me. These are technologies being developed in expensive laboratories, funded by billionaires, debated by governments. The outcomes are still uncertain. The access, when it comes, will go to the wealthy and powerful first. Today, I want to talk about something different, a technology that is also happening now, that also didn't exist 2 years ago in any meaningful form. That is also changing everything, but this one is available to everyone, right now, on a laptop, for free or close to it. And what it makes possible, what one ordinary person can actually build with it today, was genuinely unimaginable 2 years ago. I know this because I am that person, and I want to show you exactly what I built. 2 SaaS products, 3 YouTube channels, 3 videos a week, all of it built this year, alone, with a laptop, in my 60s, 2 years after a stroke. I am not telling you this to impress you. I am telling you this because 2 years ago it would have been impossible. Not difficult, not expensive, impossible. The things I used to build, what I built, simply did not exist, and I think most people have not yet understood what that means. Let me take you back 24 months. If you wanted to build a SaaS product in 2024, a real one, with a proper interface, payment processing, user accounts, email functionality, you needed a developer, probably 2, a designer, someone to write the copy, someone to handle the infrastructure, a budget that ran into tens of thousands of pounds before you had a single paying customer. If you wanted to produce video content at scale, multiple channels, multiple videos per week, consistent quality, you needed a production team, a scriptwriter, a voice artist, a video editor, an animator if you wanted animation, equipment, software licenses. Time measured in days per video rather than hours. If you wanted to do both simultaneously, as a solo founder, with no team and no external funding, you didn't. It wasn't possible. You picked one thing and accepted that everything else would have to wait. 12 months ago, something started to change. The AI tools that had been impressive but inconsistent began crossing a threshold. Not a dramatic single moment, a gradual accumulation of capability that suddenly felt qualitatively different. Code generation went from producing snippets you had to heavily edit to producing functional applications you had to lightly review. Image generation went from clearly artificial to genuinely usable for commercial purposes. Voice synthesis went from obviously robotic to indistinguishable from a real human voice. Research that previously took days began taking minutes. Writing began requiring editorial judgment rather than professional skill, which is a different and more interesting thing to need. The barrier to building collapsed, not slowly, rapidly, within a time frame that most people who weren't paying close attention missed entirely. Here is what I actually built in 2026, in months, not years. InvoiceKwik, a SaaS invoicing product for UK sole traders and freelancers, HMRC compliant, Stripe payment processing, AI voice and text invoice creation, cash flow forecasting, late payment interest calculation, company's house integration, CIS support, a complete, functional, commercially viable product built by one person with a laptop. CRMKwik, a CRM product for small businesses. Client storage, analysis, email capability. Also built by one person. Also complete. Currently on hold while I focus resources elsewhere, but built. Fully. In a fraction of the time it would have taken 2 years ago. 3 YouTube channels. Stickman Science. What Comes Next, out there, each with its own visual identity, its own production pipeline, its own publishing schedule, 3 videos a week, scripts, animation, voiceover, thumbnails, a complete professional content operation run by one person. I want to be honest about something. The commercial results are early. 1 paying customer on InvoiceKwik. The YouTube channels launched in the 2nd week of July. I am not telling you this is a success story yet. I am telling you it is a building story. And the building, the part that used to require teams and budgets and months, happened faster than I could have imagined. What changed? Let me be specific. Code. I know Java, Python, JavaScript, SQL. I could always build things, but let me be more specific about what my relationship with code actually looked like before this year. For most of my career, I worked as a systems architect and designer. The thinking, the structure, the decisions about how things should fit together, what belongs where, how data flows, how systems talk to each other, that was my work. I could program and still do, particularly when figuring out a new piece of technology requires getting hands-on. But the bulk of what I did was always the thinking, not the typing. What has changed is what happens after the thinking, where I used to either write the implementation myself or hand a specification to a developer. I now have a conversation with AI. I describe what I need, I review what comes back, I guide it toward what I actually meant. The architecture is still mine, the judgment is still mine, the decisions about what to build and why are entirely mine. The coding, increasingly, is not. That is not a loss. It is a compression of the distance between idea and working product that changes everything about what one person can attempt alone. The decades of experience that tell me what good architecture looks like, what will scale and what won't, what the right approach is, none of that has been replaced. It has been amplified. The gap between knowing what to build and having it built has collapsed in a way that nothing in my career prepared me for. Visual design. I am not a visual designer. I have never been a visual designer. My background is systems architecture, not aesthetics. The channel banners, watermarks, thumbnail templates, and visual identities across 3 YouTube channels were produced with AI assistance to a standard that would previously have required a professional designer. Writing. Scripts for 3 videos a week across 3 different channels covering science, technology, and science fiction, written collaboratively with AI, edited and shaped by me. The voice is mine, the opinions are mine, the research direction is mine, but the speed at which that thinking becomes finished, production-ready script, has changed beyond recognition. Voice. An AI voice, modelled on my own, delivers narration across all 3 channels, consistent, professional, indistinguishable from a human recording, available instantly, at 0 marginal cost per video, and you do not want to hear me stuttering throughout the video. Research. Deep, accurate research on topics ranging from the Fermi paradox to CRISPR to the economics of streaming television, available in minutes rather than days. None of these tools existed in their current form 2 years ago. All of them are available today to anyone with a laptop and an internet connection. Here is the implication that I don't think most people have sat with properly. What I have described is not a story about a tech company. It is a story about one person working alone after a stroke in their 60s, building things that would have required a small agency 2 years ago. The democratization of building is real. It is happening now. And it is moving faster than most people realize because most people are judging the speed of AI progress by the headlines, rather than by what is actually possible today if you sit down and try. The headlines talk about chatbots and image generators. That is the surface. Underneath it, the tools available to a single motivated person have crossed a threshold that changes what one person can attempt. Not everything they attempt will succeed commercially. Building and selling are still 2 different problems. The tools have transformed building, finding customers, building trust, navigating markets. That human problem remained stubbornly human. If I had an AI salesperson, well, that would make it a totally different ballgame. But the building barrier, the thing that used to stop individuals from even starting, is gone. And here is the part that should genuinely give you pause. This is where we are in 2026. With the tools available today, the pace of improvement in these tools over the last 24 months has been extraordinary. There is no credible reason to believe that pace is about to slow down. The trajectory suggests that what I can build alone today, a motivated person will be able to build in a fraction of the time in another 24 months. We are not at the end of this curve. We are somewhere near the beginning of it. What does that mean for the businesses built on the assumption that certain tasks require teams? What does it mean for the professions built on the assumption that certain skills require years of training? What does it mean for the economy built on the assumption that production at scale requires capital? I don't have complete answers to those questions. Nobody does. But I know this: the person sitting at a laptop with curiosity and the willingness to learn these tools has capabilities today that would have seemed extraordinary 2 years ago. And in 2 more years, they will have capabilities that seem extraordinary today. The question worth asking is not whether this is happening. It clearly is. The question is whether you are paying attention closely enough to be the person with the laptop, rather than the person who looks up one day and wonders when everything changed. Next time, we go further. See you then. If this gave you something to think about, hit like. It helps more people find these ideas. Subscribe for a new video every week. The future isn't going to wait, neither should we.